Thank you. Hare Krishna. So I'm very happy to be again with you. And it is very inspiring to see small kids also. Actually, Krishna consciousness is for everyone. It is even for kids and even it is for older people. Why? Because the soul has no age. Does the soul have any age? No. Ajo nityam shashvato yam puranam na hanyate hanmane sharire. So the body goes for transformation, for changes from boyhood to youth to adult and to old age. But the soul never changes. And Krishna consciousness is for the soul. जैसे हम शरीर के लिए क्या देते हैं? भोजन, आहार. लेकिन आत्मा के लिए क्या है? भगवान के साथ भक्ति. So we will continue the third chapter. आप में से कितने लोगों ने थर्ड चैप्टर सुना है अभी तक? बैठिए बैठिए यशपाल जी, बैठ जाइए. आप आगे आ जाओ. Come in front, because whoever comes later can sit at the back or whatever way. We have many seats, but seats are dispersed. So we are discussing the third chapter, and third chapter, that is echo, from where the echo is coming. Okay, let there be this system only. Yeah. So the third chapter is very important chapter because it is called Karma Yoga. Krishna has begun to speak Bhagavad-gita. There are 18 chapters in Bhagavad-gita. And second chapter was the contents of Gita summarized. So what all is containing in Bhagavad-gita, Krishna has given an introduction in the second chapter. So Krishna starts to explain the first concept of karma. There are 5 subject matters in Bhagavad-gita. जानते हैं आप? What are the subject matters of Bhagavad-gita? First is Jiva, who we are. That Krishna explained in the second chapter. That Jiva is eternal. And in the 15th chapter, Krishna will speak that the Jiva is not born in the laboratory. The Jiva comes from me. Mameva amsho Jiva loke. Then the second aspect of Bhagavad-gita, the second subject matter of Bhagavad-gita is Prakriti. Prakriti hai na? Because whatever we need to live, Prakriti se. Factory में क्या हो रहा है? केवल process हो रहा है और package हो रहा है. It is not being produced. Can you produce even a grain in the factory? No. You can only process it or try to preserve it or package it, but you cannot produce it. So what is this material or cosmic manifestation? That is Prakriti. And the third, both Prakriti and Jiva, they are not independent, isn't it? In nature, you see there are 6 seasons. There is the day and then there is the night. Everything is in order, isn't it? There is a sequence. So that means it is regulated. It is controlled. Living entity is also controlled, isn't it? We have birth, we have boyhood, then we have youth and old age. Can anyone stop it? Somebody wants to say that I don't want to go beyond boyhood. No, I'm sorry. So is he in control? Whoever has taken birth, he is sure to die. Can anyone stop death? So many big, conquerors came. So-called conquerors. But what they were? They were conquered. They were devoured. They were devoured by death. Can anyone survive? That means we are all controlled. So then who is the controller? When the nature is controlled and the living entity is controlled, so then who is the controller? So that is Ishvara. So first subject matter is Jiva, who we are. Second is this cosmic creation or material nature. And third is that who is the controller of both? That is Ishvara. Dolaman, you tell him that I'll speak later. You help him. So third aspect is Ishvara. And the fourth very important aspect is that karma. That all the living entities in this human form of life, what they perform? Karma. So what is karma? Karma binds everyone. So Krishna speaks about karma yoga. Bhagavad-gita does not speak about just karma. It talks about karma yoga. So that is the fourth subject matter. And the fifth subject matter is kala, or time. Because the influence of time is there on everyone, apart from Ishvara. The jiva is controlled within time. He takes birth and he dies. Living entity also, the prakriti, karma is also within the cycle of time. So what is kala? So these are the 5 subject matters of Bhagavad-gita. So entire Bhagavad-gita is about these 5 subject matter. So now tell me, this 5 subject matter, does it pertain to Indian and it does not pertain to American? Does it pertain to Hindu or does it not pertain to Muslim? Have you seen a Hindu son and a Pakistani son? Huh? Or an Indian son or a American son? The sun is there for everyone who wants to be out of darkness. He has to see the light of the sun. So similarly, Bhagavad-gita gives the comprehension, understanding of these 5 subject matters. And believe me, this knowledge is not available anywhere in the world. Wherever academic institute you go. Is any academic institution teaching us these 5 subject matters? So this knowledge is very, very revolutionary. And somehow this knowledge has become extinct from our life. So if we want to know ourselves and we want to know this creation and what is the purpose of our creation and how we can fulfill the purpose of our creation, we need to know Bhagavad-gita. Otherwise, we will be born in ignorance, we will live in ignorance, and we will live in ignorance. So Krishna is in the 3rd chapter speaking about karma yoga. Just briefly, how many of you have come for the first time? आप में से कितने लोग पहली बार आए हैं आज? Okay, only 2 of you. You have heard third? Acha, okay, good, very good. What's your name? No, okay. I'm asking the young boy. Okay, Mataji is Padmavati. What's your name? Abhinav. Okay, Abhinav. Thank you for coming. Actually, one of our, what is your age? 7? 6. One of our acharyas, when he was at 7, he knew the entire 700 verses of Bhagavad-gita. Not only he knew Bhagavad-gita, that many kids do. They can memorize the Sanskrit, but he could explain each and every verse. So the right time to gain this knowledge is 5 years. From 5 years. Kumar Acharit Pragya Dharmam Bhagavatam Niham. If one wants to cultivate this spiritual knowledge, the right age is, so you are very near. You are in the right age. We were very late. We began very late, but Abhinav is in the right age. So Krishna speaks about performing yoga. So he is combining karma with yoga. And Krishna says that whoever is in this embodied, the soul is embodied. We discussed that in length in the 2nd chapter, that the living entity, the jiva, is within this body. He is not this body. Do I say I body? Do I say I hand? Or do I say I head? What do we say? My hand, my body, my head. That means body and me are same. Body and me are same. But we do not have this knowledge or realization that what is the difference and where is the difference. So that difference Krishna is explaining in Bhagavad-gita. And in the 2nd chapter, he first gives this knowledge that you are not this body. And do not have too much attachment to your body. And do not think by killing the body, you can kill the person. The person and the body are different. But how to realize this? How to be able to have this realization? So Krishna gave up the knowledge of Buddhi Yoga. In the second chapter, Krishna spoke about Buddhi Yoga. And in the third chapter, he is explaining how to perform Buddhi Yoga. So he is speaking this third chapter, and he says that whoever is embodied, that means the living entity which is encased within this body, what he has to do, he cannot refrain from performing any action. Abhinav, here, don't speak. Come and sit here. Abhinav, can you come here? Come. Come and we will give you one Bhagavad-gita also. You take Bhagavad-gita. Sit here. You be our, ideal student, a role model. So Krishna is explaining in the 5th verse of this 3rd chapter that no one can give up action or work or karma at any moment. Why? Because this is the nature of the soul to be always active. Because what is the difference between a living person and a dead person? Yeah, action. And what is the source of action? Soul. This is such a big paradox. We say that science have advanced. Where is the advancement? Have they been able to detect what is the difference between dead person and a live person? Has anyone ever seen what is soul? Chetana. Chetana is what? So where does that sense come from? Which part of the body? Mind. A person who is dead, can you see his mind? Even if he is alive, can you see his mind? So these are subtle things. These are which is beyond gloss. So Bhagavad-gita gives us the insight. Bhagavad-gita gives us the journey within. We have explored so much outside, but we have remained ignorant inside. We do not know who we are. So Krishna explains that to be able to have realization of the self, what we have to do? We have to perform yoga. And what is that yoga? In the 3rd chapter, Krishna is saying, in the 8th verse, he says, Niyatam kuru karma tvam karma jayo hi akarmana. Perform your prescribed duty. And what is prescribed duty? In the next verse, Krishna is prescribing that it is yagya. So, how karma becomes yoga? How the connection establishes? By action, when the karma is made in the form of yagya. So it connects and it becomes yoga. So it becomes karma yoga. And one who does not perform sacrifice, or one who does not connect to the Supreme through his action, what does the action does? The action becomes the cause of his bondage. Then we will come in the 8th chapter, Arjuna will inquire the term. Kim karma. In the 8th chapter, Arjuna will ask 8 questions. So the one of the question Arjuna will ask is, what is karma? The 3rd question he asks. So Krishna says, karma means creation of future bodies. People are very proud. I am performing my karma. But what is the result, my dear, of performing a karma? That you are confirming that you will have another world. Like you are putting the seeds in the soil. So what is the result of putting the seeds in the soil? There will be crop, isn't it? So karma means creating further seeds so that you will have future bodies. Body means birth, death, old age and disease. For sure, by performing karma, you will get these 4 things. Perform one action, you will get 4 things free. Birth, death, and between birth and death, old age and disease. So then Krishna is explaining that I will teach you, Arjuna, how to perform karma as yajna so that you can become tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara, so that you can be freed from the cycle of birth and death. You asked last time, no, what is moksha? So moksha means freedom. One who is liberated. Liberated from bondage. And then Krishna explains in the 10th verse we discussed that how this yajna is performed, that because all the natural necessities that we require to exist comes from the demigods. So we should perform sacrifice. And by performing sacrifice, there will be happiness and prosperity. And when there is cooperation between the demigods and the humans, then there will be naturally peace and prosperity for all. You see, in every religion, if you take the most populous religion over the world, which is the most, practiced or populous religion? Christianity. So what conception do they have in Christianity? After death, where they want to go? No, that means you don't know Bible. That is, the Christians, where do they want to go after death? Huh? Heaven. They don't want to go to hell. If they don't follow, they will go to hell, isn't it? This is a big fear which is there in the heart of those who are practicing, that if we don't follow what Jesus says, we will be going to hell. But if we follow, where we will go? Heaven. So they want to go to heaven, because heaven is the abode of happiness, isn't it? Jesus did not say that you stay here. Where is he inviting everyone? To come to heaven. And if you see even Muslims, what conception they have? Jannat. And where is Jannat? Here? No. It is where the Supreme or where their Lord resides. Not in this planet. Right? So Krishna is also giving here, he is adding one aspect of practice which is called karma kanda, which is lower than karma yoga. That if you cannot perform yajna, if you cannot perform every action, last time and last time, I detailed about yajna. Anyone remembers what is yajna? Abhinav, you are hearing? What is yajna? Yeah, sacrifice. But what it entails in the sacrifice? What makes an action become sacrifice? When it is given to God. Yeah, when it is performed for God, without our own selfish motivation or desires. Yes, very correct. When the act is for the benefit of someone else. If we are acting for ourselves, for our benefit, then it is not yajna, it is karma. When we are acting or we are working for someone else's benefit, the benefactor is the Supreme Lord, then it is yajna. So you can evaluate, you can analyze what are we doing. Are we doing karma or are we doing yajna? Karma. Every action is karma. So Krishna is explaining that one who is not performing yajna, what is his position? That we will take from the 12th verse, today's verse. You open and give it to Abhinav. The verse number 12. And you please distribute the Bhagavad-gita and open 12th verse of the 3rd chapter. We will do Mangalacharan also. I will read the verse and then do Mangalacharan. So far clear. I have tried to connect what we have discussed. Most of you were not there in the last class. So Krishna is prescribing how we have to perform action, that the action becomes yajna. So yajna is liberating, whereas karma is binding. And those who are not performing yajna, what is their position? This is explained here. Ishtan bhogan hi vo deva dasyante yagna bhavita ter dattan apradebhyo yo bhungte stena evasa. So Krishna is speaking that what is the consequence of those who are not performing yajna. And if one is not performing yajna, why is he performing action? For self-satisfaction or self-enjoyment. So in charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of yajna, will supply all necessities to you. This we discussed in the last verse also, continuing. So those who are doing that, they will receive both. They will receive prosperity and they will receive peace. But those who are not performing yajna, but he who enjoys such gift without offering them to the demigods, in return is certainly a thief. Those who are enjoying the benefits, but they are not offering to the demigods or to the Supreme Lord. So this is first karma kanda. This is a little step lower than the yajna. So that is motivation for self also. Like children go to school, isn't it? But do we directly give them to go to school? What happens to them? They're not interested. Why? Because they feel if they are sent to school, they will lose their playing opportunity. So now the school people have also thought about them. They have a play school. They don't start with classroom session. They start with play session. Isn't it? But what is the purpose of going to school? Is to remain in the play school? No. Play school is for 1 year. Maximum 1 year. Isn't it? But after the play, there has to be real thing, which is study. So Karma Kanda section is there. So Karma Kanda says that you can avail your benefits also, your enjoyment also, and you can satisfy the demigods also. So that is what is being recommended here. This is for those who are not able to perform yajna for Lord Vishnu and Krishna. Like not everybody can do PhD. Is it possible for everyone to do PhD? No. But that does not mean that he cannot be educated. Yeah. There are various levels for various people. So the lower level of ladder is this karma kand. But those who even do not perform karma kand. So see, so animal life and human life. So for those who are only living for their own enjoyment, not following what is prescribed in the scriptures, in the Vedas, their life is equal to the animal life. So human life begins when there is some authority, there is some discipline, there is some prescription. And that begins with karma kand. That is the first level of yoga ladder. So we're talking about yoga. And yoga happens by yajna. And there are various levels of yajna or various levels of yoga. So how the starting point is or how the entry point is, the entry point starts from karma kand. Karma kand means that there is the prescription in the Vedas, and according to what is prescribed in the Vedas, we perform so that we can get material success or material happiness. So this is being explained. But one who does not even accept karma kand, what is he doing? He is availing all the facilities, but he is not offering. So such a person is sthena evasa. Sthen means he is a thief. Like you are one of the students example, I give you a practical example. Like you are enrolled in IARI, you are doing PhD. So do you pay for fees here while doing PhD? No. Rather you are paid. You get scholarship or stipend, isn't it? The IARI gives you. Then you get hostel also, isn't it? Do you have to pay for hostel? You don't have to pay. Yeah. So you are getting everything what? Free. And if you don't study, what? Fee you pay? Are you paying 12,000? No. IERI pays everyone here scholarship. Don't try to mislead me. I am talking about PhD. PhD, do you pay fees?
Fees is paid and they pay like
They pay more than the fees, no? So you see, this cheating propensity, people are so ungrateful, they are receiving, still they are saying that we are paying. Classic example. Have you paid from your pocket? Then who is paying? Who is paying for you? Huh? Not the parents. For you, parents are paying. But for PhD, those who are doing here in IARA, it is directly the government, but it is actually the citizens of the country. Right? So similarly, every necessity that we require to maintain this body, last time I discussed, we need light, we need air, we need water, oxygen. Where is it coming from?
Nature.
Nature. And whose nature? Is it my nature? Is it your nature? No, not everyone's nature. Nature is also controlled. Yeah. So that Tattva is Ishvara. So if we do not pay back to the nature, then what we are doing? We are availing benefits and we are like thieves. So Krishna is giving this principle. Please accept this. If you try to ignore it, see, it cannot be ignored. You can try and manipulate with the government, try to deceive. But if you try not to accept this principle, we will only suffer. And that is the reason as advancement will happen, so-called, not advancement, degradation. Kali Yuga is the age of degradation. Why degradation? Because we do not do our duty. We do not do what is required to be done. So a person who is thief, who is stealing, can he be happy? Can he be peaceful? Can he be satisfied? He can never be satisfied. So we will see, before I go to the purport, I will invoke invocation, because this knowledge does not enter our head. It has to enter through our heart. Why? Because the head is, not tuned into this knowledge. This is level of revolution which we do not accept, but you can accept through our heart. So the transcendental knowledge comes in the heart, not in the head. Why? Because in the heart, the super soul is there. So when the super soul sees that we are sincere, then he bestows this gift of knowledge. Otherwise, it remains in the book. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya. In the first page, it is there. Very beautiful invocation, prayer of Mangalacharan. You can see in page number 1. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadavayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Vijayapate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So Bhagavad-gita gives us a clear understanding of how this material nature is working. You see, Prabhupada will explain in the purport. If you see the purport of this 12th verse, Prabhupada says the demigods are authorized supplying agents on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Like the government is there. The government has various ministries. It has so many administrative functions through which it gives welfare, isn't it? Welfare for the entire state or the country. And what the citizens are expected to pay? Tax, isn't it? And if we are availing all benefits and we don't pay tax, then what happens? We are liable to be punished, isn't it? Same principle is here. Actually, the government has taken the principle from God only. Where is their principle coming from? Yeah. But what is God expecting? Please know. What is the purpose of this entire creation? Krishna is explaining through Arjuna that the demigods are authorized supplying agents on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. So there are many, many demigods, but there is only one Supreme God. And not all the demigods are equal to the Supreme Lord. Like I give a simple example, there is only one president or prime minister. And there are so many ministers. There are cabinet ministers, state ministers, then independent ministers. There may be hundreds and hundreds of ministers, isn't it? Government of India has how many ministers? More than 100. But the prime minister is only one. And does all the ministers together, are they equal to prime minister? No. So, if somebody is ignorant, who calls the minister as prime minister, by his calling the minister prime minister, does the minister become prime minister? No. Therefore, they must be satisfied by performance of prescribed yajnas. In the Vedas, there are different kinds of yajnas provided for different kinds of demigods, but all are ultimately offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we come in the later chapter, Krishna will speak and tell them that this kind of sacrifice or this kind of offering is not perfect. It is indirect. Even if you are worshipping Ganesh, if you are worshipping Shiva, or you are worshipping Durga, or whoever you might be worshipping, the ultimate beneficiary is the Supreme Lord. But it is not the direct approach. It is not the perfect approach. It is the imperfect approach. But all are ultimately offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For one who cannot understand what the Personality of Godhead is, sacrifice to the demigod is recommended. So to whom it is recommended? It is recommended for those who are not in the proper position. Those who are not offering yajna directly to Krishna, then they can offer to demigods. According to different material qualities of a person concerned, different type of yajnas are recommended in the Vedas. Worship of different demigods is also on the same basis, namely according to different qualities. For example, the meat eaters are recommended to worship goddess Kali. So some people who are very addicted, they cannot live without meat. So killing is very sinful. If you kill someone and eat, just see what will be the sinful reaction. So for that, there is recommendation in the Vedas that what they should do, they should offer what they have killed first to goddess Kali and then eat. So there is some recommendation. The ghastly form of material nature and before the goddess of sacrifice of animals is recommended. But these are for those who are in lower position, in lower modes, in the mode of ignorance. But those who are in the mode of goodness, the transcendental worship of Vishnu is recommended. So there are, like you see in the society, not everyone can do PhD, but everyone is recommended to do at least the basic schooling till class 5. And then some will do graduation, some will do post-graduation, but very select few will do PhD. So there are different levels of people. So those, how the levels are determined on the basis of which mode is governing them. There are three modes in material nature. One is the mode of goodness, which is the highest. Goodness means clarity. Clarity means that their life is based on only pious activity. They only perform yajna. They don't perform any sinful activity. But such people are very few. Then there is the lower mode, which is the mode of passion. In mode of passion, it is mixed. He will perform some pious activity, but he will also perform some sinful activity. So the result is mixed. But even below that, mode of passion is mode of ignorance. And in mode of ignorance, he will mostly perform sinful activity. So those, how to uplift them? So Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is very kind. He is the father of everyone. So the father wants the welfare of everyone. He does not want to leave anyone. So the recommendation is that those who are in the mode of even ignorance, how they can be uplifted gradually by the process of recommending the various worships. So one example is given that those who want to eat meat, they sacrifice in front of goddess Kali or Durga. But ultimately, all yajnas are meant for gradual promotion to the transcendental position. So as we perform this sacrifice, because it is under the authority of Vedas, so gradually there is, the ignorance is removed and knowledge is cultivated. And there is purification. So that addiction or that, dependence on meat is gradually removed. Like coming to Krishna consciousness. When we see the devotees in Krishna consciousness, we don't even eat onion and garlic now. But if you take the history of all the devotees, maximum were meat eaters before. Maximum were meat eaters. So what happened? Because they performed the practice of Krishna consciousness, gradually from mode of ignorance, they came to the mode of goodness. And when they have come to the mode of goodness, even if you pay them 1 lakh rupee, I can guarantee you, no one will even look at meat. You try them, you try whatever. They will not eat. Why? Because in their heart, that desire is over. Finished. Why? Because they have been uplifted. They're very practical. Very practical. Anyone who is practicing, who was eating meat before? You were eating? You? Why you are not raising your hand? You are still eating or you have left? Yes. But have you started to practice? You have just started to come. Okay. So all these sinful activities can be removed by the process of Krishna consciousness. So here it is being said that ultimately all yajnas are meant for gradual promotion to the transcendental position. It is to elevate even beyond goodness to go to the platform of pure goodness, which is transcendental. For ordinary men, at least 5 yajnas known as Panch Mahayajnas are necessary. One should know, however, that all the necessities of life that the human society requires are supplied by the demigod, agents of the Lord. No one can manufacture anything. Take, for example, all the eatables of human society. These eatables include grains, fruits, vegetables, milk, sugar, etc. For the person in the mode of goodness, also eat, for the, no one can listen. Mode of goodness and also eatables for non-vegetarians like meat, none of which can be manufactured by men. Then again, take for example, heat, light, water, air, etc., which are also necessities of life. None of them can be manufactured by the human society. Without the Supreme Lord, there can be no profuse sunlight, moonlight, rainfall, breeze, etc., without which no one can live. Obviously, our life is dependent on supplies from the Lord. Even for our manufacturing enterprises, we require so many raw materials like metal, sulfur, mercury, manganese, and so many essentials, all of which are supplied by the agents of the Lord. So, once a practical aspect happened, there was a practical episode. Our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, who has written Bhagavad-gita, who has presented this Bhagavad-gita, he was in Mayapur. And one big businessman came to meet him from Calcutta. So one devotee brought him. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj brought him. And Maharaj told Prabhupada that such and such gentleman has come from Calcutta and he has very big factories. So Prabhupada asked him that what kind of factory you have. So he said, Swamiji, I manufacture glass. What I manufacture? Glass. So Prabhupada said, you manufacture glass? He said, yes. So Prabhupada said, how do you manufacture glass? What is the raw material? You know what is the raw material for glass? Sand. Sand. And when sand is heated at a very high temperature, in thousands of centigrade, it converts into liquid. And that from that liquid, glass is made. So Prabhupada asked him, did you manufacture sand? Is there any manufacturing unit which can manufacture sand? Where is sand coming from? God. So Prabhupada said, he is a thief. What is he? He is a chore. He is taking God's resource and he is saying that I am manufacturing. This is the principle. One who does not offer to the Lord, he is a thief. Then Jayapataka Swami Maharaj told Prabhupada that, but Prabhupada, he is our life member. He gives some donation. So Prabhupada said, then he is a small thief. You got it? So if we are not offering back to the Supreme, we are receiving it and claiming it is mine and we are enjoying it, then certainly we will be liable for the punishment of thief. People come to us and say, Prabhuji, हमने तो जीवन में कुछ नहीं किया, हमने कोई पाप नहीं किया. Why we are suffering? This is the reason why you are suffering. Why? Because you are a thief. And the thief is liable to be punished. He has to suffer. So don't think that if we do not accept this principle, we will be relieved. Never. The law of karma, when we come to the 4th chapter, Krishna will speak. Kim karma, kim akarmeti, kavyo api atra mohita. That even the wise men are bewildered. So if we do not perform yajna, if we do not offer what we are receiving, then we are likely to be punished. All of which are supplied by the agents of the Lord with the purpose that we should make proper use of them to keep ourselves fit and healthy for the purpose of self-realization. So why these resources are given? So that we can advance in self-realization, leading to the ultimate goal of life, namely liberation from the material struggle for existence. This aim of life is attained by performance of yajna. So if we do not perform yajna, then what we are doing? We are only accepting and enjoying the resources, which does not belong to us. If we forget the purpose of human life and simply take supplies from the agent of the Lord for sense gratification and become more and more entangled in material existence, which is not the purpose of creation, certainly we become thieves. Society of thieves, and therefore we are punished by the law of material nature. A society of thieves can never be happy. So what is today's society? It is a society of thieves. A society of thieves and rogues. So how it can be happy? Because they have no aim in life. The gross materialist thieves have no ultimate goal of life. They are simply directed for sense gratification. Nor do they have knowledge of how to perform yajna. Lord Chaitanya, however, inaugurated the easiest performance of yajna, namely the Sankirtan yajna. which can be performed by anyone in the world who accept the principles of Krishna consciousness. So we discussed last time also that the simplest and the easiest way, Krishna will explain in the 10th chapter, that amongst all the sacrifices, I am the Japa Yagya. Please pay your attention here. You have not come to see the child playing aeroplane. Why we want to become a child? Important. Otherwise, we will remain in our position and we will change body. And in every body, what we will do? We will suffer. We will suffer. A child can be absorbed, but what about us? So very important principle is being explained here in this Karma Yoga section, that everyone who has come in this human form of life, he must perform yajna. And Krishna in the 10th chapter, when he will explain his opulences amongst this material manifestation, he speaks that among all the yajnas, he is the Japa Yagya. Yagya Nam Japa Yagyo Asmi. And what is this yajna? This is the simple yajna of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Simple. One yajna performed. One oblation given. One obligation completed. So we must chant. And those who do not chant, then the material nature and the material nature's laws will become applicable. And that is the simple way of performing yajna is performing the chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. How many of you are chanting every day? Every day? Okay. Better to chant at least 16 rounds. Why 16 rounds? Because every mantra that we chant, this one Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it has 16 syllables. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It is 16 syllables. So one mantra has 16 syllables and one round has 108. So 108 into 16 is how much? Calculate. One 728. And we chant 16 rounds. So 1728 syllables are done in one round. Into 16. Huh? So that is the average breath for an adult person. Average breathing. So with every breathing, what we are doing? We are performing yajna. The entire existence is of performing yajna. Because we are not so conscious that every moment we take in breathing, we can perform yajna. So we perform in the morning 16 rounds of chanting. Then our entire existence, we are performing yajna. So if we are doing that, if you're performing yajna, then we will be free from all sinful activities or sinful reactions. And whatever is required in our life will automatically come. People do not know that what is the secret of prosperity. It is not just hard work. It is not luck. It is not intelligence. It is yajna. It is yajna. Krishna is speaking here that in charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods being satisfied by the performance of yajna will supply all necessities to you. People are busy wasting their efforts, but not knowing where is the effort to be paid. Prabhupada started the society with 40 rupees. When he went to US, he had only 40 rupees from India. And he created the Hare Krishna movement all over the world. And he brought that 40 rupees back to India. Why? Because he was performing yajna and he was making others to perform yajna. So all necessities are there. And the next, I'll take the next verse also. यज्ञाशिष्टाशिना संतो मुच्यन्ते सर्व किल्बिषे भुंजते त्वघं पाप ये पचन्ति आत्म कारणा। तो यज्ञ शिष्टाशिना संतो, यज्ञ शिष्ट, शिष्ट मीन्स विच इज द remaining part. If you offer something to the yajna, there is some remaining part. No? So those who accept the remnants, those who are accepting the remnants of the yajna, they are freed. Yajna sishta shina. Ashina means those who accept. They are called santaha. They are freed from all sinful activities or sinful reactions. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. So another very important and very effective way of performing yajna. One is by chanting. समझ में आ रहा है ना माता जी? आपको समझ में आ रहा है? थोड़ा भी आ रहा है तो आप सुनिए। मैं वैसे आपकी इस बात से बहुत प्रभावित हूँ कि मैं अंग्रेजी में बोल रहा हूँ, मजबूरी है मेरी बोलनी, क्योंकि काफी साउथ इंडियन है और यहाँ पे लोग इंग्लिश ही ज्यादा समझते हैं। हालांकि मैं हिंदी में भी बोल सकता हूँ, लेकिन शुरू से इंग्लिश का ही यहाँ पे ट्रेंड है। लेकिन मैं आपको ये चीज निवेदन करता हूँ कि अगर आप आके सुनेंगी तो वास्तव में जो हृदय में हमारे भगवान है, परमात्मा, वो सबसे ज्यादा प्रसन्न होंगे, क्योंकि आप उनके दिए हुए ज्ञान को लेने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। आपको प्रयास बाकियों से ज्यादा करना पड़ेगा, ध्यान से सुनना पड़ेगा। लेकिन आप हिंदी की पुस्तक ले लीजिए, हिंदी की पुस्तक से पढ़िए, आपको समझ में आने लगेगा। मैं आपको अपना एक वृतांत बताता हूँ। एक बार मैं एक इस्कॉन के ऐसे मंदिर में गया जहाँ पे इंग्लिश और हिंदी में क्लास नहीं हो रही थी, रीजनल लैंग्वेज में क्लास हो रही थी, और वो लैंग्वेज मुझे नहीं आती थी, लेकिन मैं बैठ के सुन रहा था। थोड़ी देर के बाद सब कुछ कनेक्ट होने लगा, समझ में आने लगा। तो अगर आपके हृदय में इच्छा है तो भगवान हृदय में निवास करते हैं और वो उसको संभव बना देते हैं। नहीं तो आप यहाँ बैठे भी हैं, इच्छा नहीं है तो कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा। क्यों? क्योंकि दिमाग तो कहीं और है, हृदय कहीं और है। तो ये बहुत विशेष बात भगवान यहाँ बता रहे हैं कि जो भगवान के भक्त हैं वो कुछ खाते नहीं है जब तक कि वो भगवान को अर्पित नहीं करते हैं। The devotees of the Lord are released from all kind of sin because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. भगवान कह रहे हैं जो भगवान को अर्पित किए बिना खाता है वो क्या खाता है? वो केवल पाप का भक्षण करता है। बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। ज्यादातर लोग विश्वास नहीं करते। अरे वो विश्वास करें चाहे ना करें, कोई बोले सूर्य है चाहे नहीं है, तो उसके सूर्य मानने से या नहीं मानने से क्या सूर्य के अस्तित्व को कोई फर्क पड़ता है? नहीं पड़ता। तो इसी प्रकार से जो बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति है वो भगवान के संदेश को स्वीकार करता है, और जो असुर है, असुर स्वीकार करता है? वो कभी स्वीकार नहीं करता। वो केवल क्या करता है? तर्क करता है, और तर्क करके अपना ही नुकसान करता है। तो यहाँ भगवान बिल्कुल साफ बता रहे हैं कि अगर भगवान को अर्पित किया हुआ भोजन नहीं स्वीकार करते, इज इट ओके फॉर यू इफ आई स्पीक लिटिल इन हिंदी? आई एम आस्किंग माता जी, पद्मावती माता जी, यू अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी? आई एम आस्किंग यू। ओके, सो इफ वी डू नॉट ऑफर what we are eating and we eat without offering, then we are only accepting a plate full of sin. So very important. Prabhupada says the devotees of the Supreme Lord or the persons who are in Krishna consciousness are called Shantas or Santas. And they are always in love with the Lord as it is described in Brahma Samhita. So how do we know that a person is a God's devotee or Lord's devotee? Because he keeps Lord in the center. Whatever he gets, whenever he gets, he thanks the Lord. And whatever he gets, he first offers to the Lord. And the Lord is so merciful. If you offer bhoga to the Lord, if you offer him 5 mangoes, will he leave one and eat 4? Does it happen? कभी ऑफर किया नहीं इसलिए पता नहीं इसलिए डर लगता है अगर मैं 5 ऑफर करूंगा तो हो सकता है भगवान को पसंद आ जाए, वो 5 खा जाए ऐसा होता है। भगवान खाते हैं लेकिन हमारे साथ ऐसा नहीं करते हैं, क्योंकि जानते हैं फिर हम ऑफर ही नहीं करेंगे वो 5 वापिस करते हैं और अपने साथ उसमें कृपा भर देते हैं, बट स्टिल वी डोंट वांट टू ऑफर। So they are called Shanta. They are always in love with Lord. So love means that we offer. जैसे एक माता जी हैं, एक mother is there. She loves the child. So what she does, whatever she prepares, does it happen that she eats and she does not offer to the child? ऐसा कभी हुआ माता है कि आपने कोई अच्छा मिठाई बनाया और आपने खुद खा लिया और अपने बच्चों को कहा कुछ बनाया ही नहीं? ऐसा किसी के साथ हुआ? So love means that you offer to others. So those who are devotees of the Lord means that those who are in love with Lord. So what they do, they first offer to Krishna. As it is described in Brahma Samhita, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadev Hrideshu Vilokayanti. The Santas always being in compact of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, the giver of all pleasures, and Mukunda, the giver of liberation, or Krishna, the all-attractive person, cannot accept anything without first offering to the Supreme Person. So if we want to become devotee of the Lord, if we want to be recognized as God's own person, what we have to learn? We have to learn to love to Lord. And how this love begins? By offering to Lord. Isn't it? ऐसा ही है ना? In this material world also, if a boy loves a girl or the girl loves a boy, what happened? Whatever they have, the best they offer to others. But here, it's very important that whatever we are eating, we must first offer to the Lord. So that offering becomes sacrifice. And the preparation becomes purified. Therefore, such devotees always perform yajnas in different modes of devotional service, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam. जैसे अभी आप आए हैं, what are you doing? You are hearing. It is called Shravanam. Shravanam is also a yajna. Why? Because about whom we are hearing? We are hearing about Krishna. We are hearing Krishna's message. We are trying to know what Krishna wants us to do. So this is also yajna. And Kirtana means one who is glorifying. You are hearing and I am speaking. This Kirtan. That is also yajna. All these performances of yajnas keep them always aloof from all kind of contamination of sinful association in material world. Others who prepare food for self or sense gratification are not only thieves, but are also eaters of all kind of sins. So last verse we got to know that those who are taking the material resources, enjoying, they are thieves. And here it is being said that those who are enjoying for themselves, they are not only thieves, they are also sinful. So how can a person be happy if he is both thief and sinful? It is not possible. Therefore, in order for people to become happy in all respects, they must be taught to perform the easy process of Sankirtan Yajna, which is chanting. So you see, if you see our body, our entire function, our body functions through the senses, isn't it? We have 2 sets of senses. One is called the knowledge acquiring senses. What is knowledge acquiring? Like from eyes we see, from ears we hear, from nose we smell, from tongue we taste. So these are all knowledge acquiring senses. And then we also have working senses, hands, legs, we all work through this. So all the senses that you see, basically the knowledge acquiring senses, we have 2 organs, like there are 2 eyes, but function is only one. It can only see. Can you hear through the eyes? No. Can we smell through the eyes? No. If we have cough or if we have, cold, then the nose is blocked. Then can we smell through other senses? Cannot sense. Yeah. But the tongue is one sense. It is only one. It is not two. But it performs two functions. What is the function? That there is speech, sound vibration. And also there is taste. Yeah. So tongue is the sense which can be engaged. This is the first sense which is engaged in performing yajna. How? By chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Very simple. Abhinav can also chant, isn't it? Does it require any special qualification? Nothing. But we have to chant. Whether our mind agrees or disagrees, we have to make the mind chant. So it is not easy. Although it is very easy, but still why it is not easy? Because our mind is not pure. Our mind is impure. Till the time the mind is impure, we have to tame the mind. We have to train the mind. And second is we offer whatever we eat to Krishna, and through the tongue we taste prasad. So the process of yajna begins. Very simple. Yajna begins by chanting and by accepting prasad. Everyone eats now. Is there anyone in this room who does not eat? Who can live without eating? Anyone can live without eating? No, we eat couple of times, multiple times in a day. So if we take prasad, so it works as if there is a vaccination. You know what is a vaccination? Like we have a COVID vaccination. So if you have taken a COVID vaccination, then the influence of the disease will not be there on the body. Simply if we take prasad, then the influence of Kali in the form of sinful desires and sinful activities will not be there. Otherwise, it is impossible. In this age of Kali, the mind and the senses are uncontrolled. And as soon as the mind and the senses detect the sense object, they are forced to enjoy them. And to be able to enjoy them, what they engage in? Sinful activity. And do we have control over it? We don't have any control. But how we can be controlled is through taking prasad. Very simple. So therefore, Prabhupada is saying, otherwise there can be no peace or happiness in this world. And if we perform this yajna, so if we perform yajna, then what is the result? Krishna gives in the next verse. We will take the next verse also. Very important verse, especially for those who are in IARI. Krishna gives the secret of how to increase the food production. How the food production can be increased. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyadan sambhava yagnad bhavanti parjanyo yagna karma samudbhava. So Krishna is giving the cycle of sacrifice. So how the cycle of sacrifice work and what are the results? So Krishna says that Annad Bhavanti Bhutani, that everyone to exist and sustain. How does he live? How does he sustain? On food grains. Even those who are meat eaters. If there is no food production, can there be any animal stock? No. And if you do a survey, you will be surprised that for 1 kg of meat, how much water is required? It is 10 times or hundreds of times more than what it is required for food grain production. So everyone has to subsist on grain, whether he is a veg or he is a non-veg. Because if he consumes animal stock also, animal has to eat food grain. So whether he is a human form of life or whether he is in animal form of life, any form of life, the existence of living entity in the bodied condition is on the food grains. So annad bhavanti bhutani. And how does the anna or the production of food grains come? Parjanyat ansambhava. Parjanyat means the rains. You all know very well. Agriculture scientist, Dinesh sir is there. Yeah. That if you do not have proper rains, what happens? The production goes down. When I was studying economics in my graduation, I was thinking India is very backward. We are so much dependent on rains. Why can't we build the system of irrigation and channels and this and that so that we can have every year increase in production? Then I studied later the economics of developed countries, also Canada and Australia, even US. There also I saw when I was studying the data, there was so much of variation in the production. Why? Because everything is dependent on rain. If there are no rains, there are no winds. So, living entity has to exist on grain, and grain depend on rain. And how rains will come? Yagnad bhavanti parjanyo. This is another revolutionary disclosure. Rains will not happen automatically. Or rains will not happen by planting just trees. Now what scientists are speaking. You plant trees and you will get rain. Then the forest area, those areas which are the most forest area, they should be producing the maximum grain. Is it happening? Is it happening? So foolish. They cannot see by basic, simple way. Where there are so only forest area, is there abundant food grain production there? Nothing is there. Why? Because yagnat bhavanti parjan. Unless and until we perform yagya, rains will not come. So rains are dependent on yagya. And what is yagya? Yagya karma samudbhava. Like we discussed. By performing one's prescribed duties. So this is the cycle of sacrifice. So what is the prescribed duties? Which is enjoined in the scriptures. That is Vedas. What is called the Brahma. So from Brahma, from Vedas, we come to know what we have to perform. That is prescribed duties. And how we have to perform prescribed duties? For the satisfaction of the Supreme. That becomes yagya. And when you perform yagya, there is rainfall. And when there is rainfall, there is plenty of production. And when there is plenty of production, everyone is happy. So this is the cycle of prosperity. This is the secret. All living bodies subsist on food grains which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yagya, and yagya is born of prescribed duty. I'll give you one practical example. In 1972, in the year 1972, you study. You can go and do Google. In Hyderabad, there was very severe drought. From 1970 to 1972, there was no rains in Hyderabad. So Prabhupada ji spoke on this verse. And he was in Hyderabad. And he challenged. He said that now we have come and there will be rains. And devotees performed Sankirtan, and that day in the Pandal program there was heavy rain. And it came in the newspapers. So if we do not perform yagya, that is why you will see as the age of Kali will advance, the cost of food grains will go maximum high. It is happening. India still we are safe. You see the surrounding countries, Pakistan, Sri Lanka and others, the wheat flour that we are getting here at 30, 40, 50 rupees is 200 rupees. The tomatoes that we are getting here at 50, 40 rupees is 100 rupees. Food grain cost will be so heavy. It is predicted in Srimad Bhagavatam that people will go with bags of currency and bring loaf of bread. Why? Because rains will not be there. Why? Because yagya is not being performed. So the cost of food grains is going to go maximum. You've seen, I don't know, how, most of you don't know, but because I purchase also, I'm the purchase person in temple. Yeah. Food grain cost have increased maximum after COVID. You would be aware also, when you will buy things outside, it has become expensive. Why? And it will continue to rise. It will never fall. Have you ever seen the cost of milk increasing in winter? It happened this time. If you see this year, the cost of milk, what was not increased in last 3 years, has been increased single more than this year. Why? Because it is becoming less. Demand is more and supply is less. So this will continue and the price will continue to rise. Why? Because we are not performing yajna. We are not performing our prescribed duties. So what we have to learn? We have to learn to eat less. Eat only once. We don't eat much. We should eat only to the extent it is required for the soul to exist in the body. Some people live to eat. Not some people, most people. But we should not follow that. We should eat to live. That's it. Okay. I will discuss this next class. Now, because the long purport, there are many aspects to discuss. Yeah. Very important principle. But we have come to know very, very important aspect from Bhagavad-gita, that if we are not performing yajna, what are we? Thieves. And not only we are thief, we are also performing sin. So if we do not perform yajna, if we do not perform our prescribed duties, then we will suffer in this life and also in the next life. Because if we are only performing karma, that means we are already planting the seed for next body. If there is any question, any doubt, please ask. Yes, sir. Huh?
Lot of emphasis is given to yajna.
Yeah.
So I generally read that Agni Hotra and different kind of yajna. How this yajna is different to the Bhagavad-gita?
See, as you mentioned, there are many yajnas. If you see the Vedas, 96% of the Vedas is karma kand. And in karma kand, the prescription is to perform so many yajnas. And what is the purpose of yajna? Karma kand is also the same. You came a little late. The conception of, as I explained in other religion, is to go to heaven to enjoy. Enjoyment here also in this life and after this life also. Go to heaven to enjoy. So karma kand is performed, all these yajnas are performed. Why? To go to elevate, to go to heaven, to enjoy. Isn't it? But even if you go to heaven, there is a lifespan. And when the merit of that yajna is over, then you have to again come back. And how the living entity comes back is through the rain only. Then we'll come in the 8th chapter, I will explain. So, how this Sankirtan yajna is different? So, Krishna is saying amongst all these sacrifices, see, if we want to take the conclusion, where we should take the conclusion? From one who is giving the recommendation. That is Supreme Lord is Krishna. He is speaking in Bhagavad-gita. So you have the Bhagavad-gita with you?
Yes.
So you open 10th chapter and you open 25th verse. So Krishna is clearly saying that amongst all the kinds of yajnas, I am the japa yajna. Yajna naam japa yajyo asmi. 25th. Page number is 474 in my book.
Yes. Yes.
See, Krishna says, Maharishi Nam Bhrigu Raham. So amongst all the Maharishi, how many Maharishis are there? Hundreds and thousands. So he's pinpointing, amongst all the Maharishi, I am the Bhrigu. Bhrigu is very, very, very prominent. You know, Bhrigu has a Samhita. Bhrigu Samhita. And in Bhrigu Samhita, he has given past and future of everyone. Then he says that Girim Asmi Ekam Aksharam, that I am the transcendental Om among all the Akshara. And then he says Yajna Nam Jap Yajyo Asmi. You saw it?
Yes.
What it means? Amongst all the yajnas of sacrifices, among all things, I am the chanting of the holy name japa. And then he says, Thavra Nam Himalaya. So amongst all the immovables, highest is Himalaya. So when Krishna is himself saying that amongst all the sacrifices, I myself personally is the japa yagya. So why should I do any other yagya? When we know that if we water the root, the tree gets the maximum nourishment. Why should I water the leaf? Should I water the leaf? Will it work? Will not work. Clear? This is Krishna. It is not in this edition only. You take any edition of Bhagavad-gita, because it is the Vani of Krishna. So what we have to do? We have to accept it. What is the difficulty? When you will see, when we will come to the 9th chapter, Krishna says, those who are worshipping the demigods, they are worshipping me in a wrong way. In a wrong way. Avidhi purvakam. I'll tell you. Verse number 23 of 9th chapter. Page number 427. Ye api अन्य देवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विता ते अपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्ति अविधि पूर्वकम्. Read the translation. पढ़िए, सब लोग सुनेंगे.
Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me. But they do things the wrong way.
What is the word Krishna is saying? Yajanti. Yajanti means yagya. But how they are performing? Avidhi purvakam. So we will perform how? Vidhi purvakam. Why we will perform avidhi purvakam? When Krishna is recommending that yagya nam japa yagyo asmi. So from this is the elevation. So this is the journey. So far in ignorance what we were doing, because we were not knowing, or we were just following someone without knowing what is to be done. But now when we know, why should we remain there? Yeah. So now we know which sacrifice is to be done. It is japa yagya. It is difficult. Why? Because the mind does not agree. Why the mind does not agree? Because the mind has ruled our soul for millions of lifetimes. And it does not want that, position to be let go. But we should be intelligent enough. We should use our intelligence to overpower the mind. How? By being determined to practice. Okay. So now you have found out yourself. You kindly note these verses. When the mind, diverts or distracts, it will. It will. Because Krishna has explained in the 6th chapter. Chanchala hi mana Krishna pramati balvadrinam. So the mind has flickering nature. It will not allow you to come to the right point. So what we have to do, Krishna says, abhyasena tu kaunteya, and vairag. Vairag means to give up. To give up what? The ideas which the mind is coming. So we should subscribe to what Krishna is saying, and we should unsubscribe to what the mind is saying. Then we can progress. Isn't it? If somebody wants to excel in PhD, if he subscribes to his idea and he unsubscribes to what the guide is saying, where he will land up? What will happen to him? Can he complete the PhD? You cannot complete the PhD. Okay. Any other doubt or question? Okay, let me ask him first. What's your name? Devashish. Okay, Devashish. Boliye. हाँ, नहीं मोक्ष प्राप्ति नहीं होगी. उससे बताया क्या होगा? उससे ग्रेजुअली आपका प्यूरिफिकेशन होगा. मीट खाने की जो इच्छा है ना, वो जाने लगेगी. अभी जो आदमी मीट खा रहा है, उसको मीट खाने में बहुत क्या आ रहा है? मजा आ रहा है. उसकी जो इंद्रियां हैं, उसको जब तक मीट नहीं मिलती, उसको सेटिस्फेक्शन नहीं मिलता, इसलिए तो खा रहा है. लेकिन उस स्टेज से वो क्या होगा? ही विल बी एलिवेटेड. अभी हमने बताया ना एग्जाम्पल कि जितने भी इस्कॉन के अभी प्रैक्टिसिंग डिवोटीज हैं, जब प्रभुपाद जी ने अमेरिका में जाके प्रचार करना शुरू किया तो वहां क्या सब लोग मतलब वेजिटेरियन थे? कोई भी नहीं था, सारे ही वेजिटेरियन नॉन वेजिटेरियन थे। लेकिन क्या खाने लगे, जब वो प्रसाद खाने लगे तो नॉन वेज खाने की इच्छा अपने आप ही समाप्त हो गई। समझे आप? प्ले स्कूल में जाएगा बच्चा तो अल्टीमेटली क्या करेगा? हाँ, पढ़ेगा ही ना। पहले साल नहीं पढ़ेगा, अगले साल तो पढ़ेगा। हाँ, क्योंकि ये हमें इसमें तामसिक, आपने प्याज को देखा है? आप प्याज को जब छीलते हैं, काटते हैं तो क्या निकलते हैं? आंसू। तामसिक है, पता है हमें। उसमें अगर स्वाद होता तो रुलाता क्यों? किस बेसिस पे कह रहे हैं? हम तो प्याज टच नहीं करते। आप हमारा प्रसाद खाइए, प्याज के कंटेंट से ज्यादा स्वादिष्ट ही होता है। जो चीज हाँ हमारे प्रोग्रेस में बाधा है उसे हम गिव अप करते हैं। ठीक है देवाशीष, क्लियर है? बोलिए, आपका क्या प्रश्न है? सुनिए, प्लीज प्लीज हियर, प्लीज हियर, प्लीज हियर अटेंटिवली, कैन बी हियर। क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर सेशन से फिर भी हमारा माइंड कुछ रिलेट कर लेता है। फिलोसफी तो कहीं भी आती है तो माइंड सीधे शट हो जाता है। बोलिए। चैंटिंग इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट यज्ञ। Yes. Yes. The principle is it should be prescribed and it should be under guidance. Sleeping is also yajna. Why we are sleeping? Because next day we will use this body in Krishna's service. So sleeping is also yajna. Eating is also yajna. Working is also yajna. But that is why Krishna is explaining yoga karmashu kaushalam. That you should know how to perform that act. And how that act is to be performed, Prabhupada is explaining. It is under the guidance. So a devotee does only yajna. He does not do any karma. Who is a non-devotee, he does not know yajna. He only does karma. Okay, I'll stop here. It is past 9. Thank you very much for coming and patiently hearing. But today we have discovered, there is a discovery. There are 3 things. Whenever we attend any session, 3 things happen. First is the discovery. Discovery हुआ ना? क्या discovery हुआ? हाँ, यह किससे बारिश होता है? अच्छा, ये डिस्कवरी हुआ। और क्या डिस्कवरी हुआ? हाँ, बोलिए अभिनव, बोलो बोलो, डोंट हेजिटेट, व्हाटएवर यू फेल्ट। अच्छा, ये सोचने लगा। और किसी को कोई डिस्कवरी नहीं हुआ? Yeah. If we don't perform yajna, we become a thief. Yeah. Actually, we are thief only. Because we don't offer. And there is no desire to offer. Even if we know, if we offer, we receive it back. Isn't it? Still there is no desire. That is the unfortunate part. And also there is one more discovery. What is that? Arvinder, what is your name? आपका क्या नाम है? हाँ, अरिंदम. What is the other discovery? अच्छा, good. We can eat prasad as much as we want. There is full freedom. We are not only thief, we also are sinful. Sinful.
One question.
Yes, Abhinav. अच्छा, महाभारत की जमीन लाल हो गई थी क्योंकि उसमें बहुत सारे लोग मारे गए, और मारे गए तो उनका ब्लड आ गया। लेकिन अभी आप जाएंगे कुरुक्षेत्र तो वहां आपको खून नहीं मिलेगा। यू आर सेफ। आप गए हो कुरुक्षेत्र? Have you been to Kurukshetra? Did you find any blood there? Don't worry. But if you go there, you will find the place where Krishna spoke Bhagavad-gita. Yeah. And then you can recite Bhagavad-gita. Okay. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembly. Hare Krishna. And there is prasadam for everyone. Because you have performed yajna, so you are entitled to receive the remnants of yajna. Hare Krishna.